What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. On today's episode, we're going to talk about head coach Matt Eberflus's comments on if Khalil Herbert will be returning this season. We're also going to talk about some of the things the Bears can look out for in the game against the Atlanta Falcons. We'll get into all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
All right, Bears fans. So Matt Eberflus gave not really an update, but just saying that he does believe that Khalil Herbert will return this season. And this is the direct quote from Matt Eberflus. Says, whenever you lose a player like that, it's always hard. It's hard to replace him. Khalil's it's got a great style to him. You guys have seen the breakout run, so it's hard to replicate that. We're just going to have to share the load with those guys. Demos stepping up and doing some different things. Certainly a talented back for sure. So, when it comes to this, he's been placed on the IR. He's going to be out for sure until week 16 at least. And so they're going to rely heavily on David Montgomery, who should be ready to play in that game. And then also Treston Ebner is going to see an increased amount of opportunities, which anything is an increase over zero. But if he can help and still balance out this run game, but we know, and some of you guys have even said it in the comments, that it does David Montgomery actually perform better when he is getting the main part of the snaps. It allows him to go through some things, stuff like that. We know David Montgomery is a very capable back. One of the best things that have boded well for the Chicago Bears team so far is our running game. So I still think we're going to have to see a balance with that. But with the increased amount of design runs for Justin Fields, I think is also going to help open up that running game or keep that running game open for us. And that's going to be one of the biggest things that we should look forward to in the game against the Atlanta Falcons. It's really going to have to be, we're going to have to rely on both our rushing game to be solid and continue to be solid, because the Atlanta Falcons are another team themselves that have a pretty solid rushing game. And so as of right now, the Chicago Bears are ranked as the 20th highest scoring offense in the NFL, which is low. The Falcons are 12th, averaging 23.2 points per game. We average 21.7 right now, but we know we've been scoring a lot of more points here recently. But the rushing attacks of both these teams are really the identifying factor. The Bears are, of course, the number one rushing team in the NFL so far this season, averaging over 200 yards per game. But the Atlanta Falcons come in as the fourth ranked rushing offense in the NFL, averaging 160 rushing yards per game. Both teams' passing offenses are ranked at the bottom of the league. The Bears are dead last at 32nd, and the Falcons are ranked 30th. They're averaging 156 yards passing. So what that means is that the defense is really going to be the key here on what defense steps up and stops the opposing team's rushing offense. And that's where things get a little bit concerning for the Chicago Bears, and they favor better for the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons right now are the 18th rushing defense in the NFL, only allowing 119 yards per game, whereas the Bears are the 28th, allowing 142 rushing yards per game. So that is where both teams are going to try to make their identity. If whichever team can find success and continue success rushing the ball, that's what's really going to dictate the team. Now, the Bears have the 10th ranked passing defense in the league, so we should be able to suffocate and snuff out that Atlanta Hawks passing defense, hopefully, whereas the Falcons have the 32nd, dead last ranked passing defense in the NFL. So as we've seen the improvement from Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, hopefully work Chase Claypool in there a little bit more as well, this Chicago Bears offense, with the way that they've been playing, can definitely take advantage of a lot of things here in this Atlanta Falcons defense. Now, the thing is, of course, missing Khalil Herbert is going to be huge for this team, and we just talked about that. But if they can still find that balance in the run game with using some trick runs, using the design runs for Justin Fields, still, of course, having David Montgomery and relying on the rookie and Treston Ebner as well, we can still find balance. We still should have one of the more potent rushing attacks in the NFL just by the nature of how we go about getting those rushing yards. But if either team finds success in the passing game, that can really blow up this matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a game in which we're going to need to see our defense step up. We should be able to keep Justin Fields pretty upright in this as well, as the Falcons only have 13 sacks on the season. They're the 31st ranked sacking defense in the NFL. So hopefully this is a game they don't get a lot of QB pressures, things like that, where the Bears can take advantage. Justin Fields has more than enough time back there. And as we know, when Justin Fields has time, it makes him even more of a dangerous quarterback. So hopefully we see that in this game. I'm looking at this as, listen, both these teams are kind of middling teams, right? We know with the Bears defense, if the Bears defense can step up and match the intensity of the Chicago Bears offense, I would say that we can win this game handedly. But because that defense has not been consistent, and because at times our offense does make those heady mistakes, and the special teams, those mistakes at parts of the game, but I do think that we can find that success. I hope that we can find that success. One of the biggest questions too coming into this game is N'Keal Harry, Velus Jones. Are either one of these players going to be active in this game? I do think that we should have had N'Keal Harry active last game. That's just my personal opinion. But I also look at this team that doesn't have the best passing defense. If you can add in Velus Jones and Dropsy Jones can hold on to the ball, his speed really could be used to free up some things as well for the tight end and other receivers in this game. So I'm looking for one of those guys to really be active this game and hopefully be utilized in the offense as well. But we know it all comes down really to this defense for the Chicago Bears. And if they're going to really stand up and just, stop the slide that they've been on the last couple of weeks, because it's been ugly. It has not been pretty. And this is not what we come accustomed to as Bears fans for our defense to look like or to operate as. And I think if we can change some of those things, get some of those things improved, we can see a much better output this game against the Falcons than what we've seen the last few weeks. I would love to see the Bears snap this losing streak, get back in the winning column, get some more momentum going on, and just show that we're going to still be a very good rushing attack even without Khalil Herbert. A lot of answers remain to be seen. All eyes are on Justin Fields right now with the national media. Everybody's looking at Justin Fields. Some are crowning him one of the most explosive quarterbacks in the league, and it's good to see that. But we have to, not this season, but hopefully we do start seeing that start translating to some wins for this team. Because, while this season was never built on wins, never built or tried to do a playoff run, it was really always set on development, laying that foundation, laying that groundwork to continue to build out this franchise on. But it will sure be nice to get in the winning column. Really be nice to get in the winning column. But some people have asked naturally, where are the Bears? What should they be doing? Should they just be focused on development and not really focused on wins? Should they be trying to win these football games? I think you got to do both. At this point, the Bears have enough draft picks. I understand wanting to maximize and letting your draft pick get as high as possible, but I still think you want to build winning habits. You still want to aim to win this game. This team is going to need a huge talent influx, and it will get one, I think, over the course of the next offseason, but you still want to start building those habits. One thing that I want to see from Justin Fields in this offense is a fourth quarter drive, a 2-minute drill drive that just is worked and successful. Hopefully we're not in a position to have to come back in the fourth quarter in this game against the Atlanta Falcons, but if for some chance we are, I want to see a successful one done on that. The questions on if the Bears should focus on development or focus on winning is valid, and I understand it. But you can't tell me you don't want to see, especially as close as they've been, especially with the fact that they've been just on the precipice and probably could have won out of their losses. 3 of those games could have easily gone the Bears' way if it wasn't for some officiating sometimes, but also execution, right? That's what this Bears team is going to have to do, and I want to see this team build in those habits, and I want to see them get in the win column. I'm not saying I want to see them win out the rest of the season, or I expect them to, but I do want to see just how that works for their confidence as well, to not only just have some successful drives or successful runs or overall the offense being a success for the most part in the last couple of games, but what it looks like to build that confidence with wins on top of all that. That's what I hope to see from the Chicago Bears team in this game against the Atlanta Falcons. And as we talk about it, it looks like Al-Quadin Muhammad is still going to be out. So that's going to let Dominique Robinson and Travis Gibson continue to see more snaps. I do think we've been seeing them come along a little bit better as well, as I'm looking at the young players on this team that we need and should want to see some development on over the course of the rest of the season. They're big ones. I mentioned also early in the episode, N'Keal Harry I would hope that he's going to be active in this game because we want to see him continue to develop. We want to see if you did find a diamond in the rough in him with getting him for essentially, a throwaway pick in a way to really take a look at the talent and what he can fit like on this team and build that chemistry with Justin Fields. Another young player this time not on the offensive line that I want to see is Alex Leatherwood. It was so much, not necessarily hype, but just talked about how the Bears could have gotten a steal, considering he was a first-round pick just a year ago and then was released. Can he come in? Do we get to see him eventually and what he looks like on hopefully improving that offensive line some? Want to see things like that. Those are some young players that I'm looking at to key in on seeing how they develop over the course of the last part of the season on top of the ones that we already know. But this Bear season it's been really fun. I think, despite the losses, just seeing the growth of Justin Fields and the development of that offense, Luke Getsy and how he's just worked in more of Justin Fields' skill set into this offense. It's been fun to see. But hopefully we see it and get the win this upcoming Sunday. But that is it for me for today on the daily episode. Make sure you're following the show at Shy Bear Central on every social media platform that we're on. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and or voicemail, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related because of you guys. Like I like to end everything on, bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.